Welcome to episode 3 of Hot Tenting on a Budget, and it's just covering my complete A to Z journey of getting into hot tenting, trying to make it affordable and having as much fun as I can. So today we're putting that hot stove into that tent there for the first time. We're going to try and get it nice and cozy. We're currently at minus 17 degrees Celsius, so it'll be really interesting to see how warm we can get the tent with this little stove. So another thing that I'm interested in learning about once the tent is set up is figuring out about how often I'm going to have to be loading up wood into the stove to keep the tent warm. So I'm going to be timing the intervals, and I'm going to try and make those intervals longer and longer by playing with the settings on the stove. It's actually pretty amazing. After 5 minutes, you can already feel the warmth in here. It's warming up so much, so quick that my camera's already trying to condensate because it, clashing with the cold and the warmth. One thing is there's a lot of frost on the inside of this tent, so it's probably going to start raining and sweating. I don't know if you can see that falling on me or not, because I've actually had it set up for a week now. So I accidentally left the door open last night too, and it's just been sitting out here in the climate. Things are warming up in here now. It's been about an hour. You can hear the stove is starting to make a few noises. At this level here, we're 6.5 degrees Celsius.
That comes to 43.7 degrees Fahrenheit.
I decided to hang it at the top just to see what the temperature is there. We're talking 31 degrees Celsius and rising. 88 degrees Fahrenheit. This is where a little fan would come in nicely, just to distribute the air evenly, because you can see on the top of the tent, it's actually raining a little bit. I get a raindrop once in a while, but you can see that it's sweating a lot. And then down towards the bottom, it's still frosty. So, even one of those little fans that you can put onto the stove that propels itself, that would be ideal. I'm thinking about one of those, but later today I might bring a little fan out just to see how that distributes the air a little bit, because I can feel it's a lot cooler down here than when I go up there. So now I'm basically just gonna let the load that I have in there die off a bit, and then I'm going to put a load in and I'm going to time that. There we go. Let's see how long it takes. I should say that the damper is wide open as well. So here we are. It's 55 minutes later, and the temperature has dropped to 4 degrees Celsius, or I think that says 36. It's backwards in my camera. 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, it's quite a bit cooler in here. I can really feel it. I'll show you the stove right now. So there you can see it's there's a lot of coals. So we're going to load that back up here. So I've started the stopwatch again, and the stove should heat things up again. This time I'm going to close the damper halfway and see what kind of burn we get going. I just got to get the flames happening here first. Jammed it a little too tight. I did add this fan here too, just to see if I can distribute the air around the tent a little better. Right now it's cool in here. It is 2 degrees Celsius or 37 degrees Fahrenheit. So it really cooled down quite a bit. And that is glowing pretty red. I closed the flue a little bit, probably about halfway, and then I closed the damper down at the bottom a little bit more. So it's only about a quarter of a way open now. And the glowing has stopped, so hopefully this is going to give it a nice slow burn. You can see that damper is closed quite a bit. And so there on the ground, we're at about 0 degrees Celsius, which would be 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can really see the difference from the top of the tent to the bottom of the tent. Frosty down there. Okay, so I'm back and it's 56 minutes later. So I think last time we were about 55 minutes, and I've got a couple of things to report here. There are a lot more coals in there than there were last time at 55 minutes. So there's definitely still some burn time there. So I'm gonna let that keep going for a little bit longer. And the other thing I wanted to report is we did lose some temperature. We're at 1 degree Celsius. So that's 34 degrees Fahrenheit. And so here's another thing I wanted to report. When I first put the stovepipe on in the other video, I put it inside of this pipe that's attached to the stove. And I decided to read the instruction, and it actually said to put it over top. So I thought it was a good idea to put it on the outside like they said, because that's just one less area where smoke can come up from the stove, right? It's been 1 hour and 15 minutes. Let's have a look at the stove now. Still quite a bit of coals in there, but then they break down pretty easy. But those would still go for a bit. I'd say you'd probably get about 1.5 hours off of this stove. I mean, those coals are still gonna burn for a while. And when you're sleeping, you know, you're bundled up under your stuff. So probably 1.5 hours. I'm not sure that you're gonna get much more than that out of this tiny little stove. One thing I can say though, this little Dan Shell stove has been really good. There's been no smoke coming back in at all. It's done really well. The control for the airflow is really nice. It gets excellent airflow. So really happy with that choice. And the tent has been pretty good as well. It is sweating quite a bit. But I mean, that's just to be expected. It's just a thin tent, right? And it's winter time. It's minus 16 or 17 degrees Celsius outside. There's one thing about the tent that I've already kind of found a little bit, I don't know, annoying or whatever. The problem is fixable, but I'll show you what it is. So every time you need to open the tent door, I'll check this out. This is me standing here. So every time you have to reach way under here, rub up against the door, which isn't a big deal, and then undo it. And same with when you close it, right? This is the poker that came with the stove here, but it gave me an idea for making this tent work be a little less annoying in that one particular situation. I'll show you. Hey, what do you think about that? So what I would do is on the zipper part, I would put a keychain ring or something like that, and I would maybe make something like this, but a little bit longer, that could just hook into there and pull it, right? And then you don't have to like bend way down there, and it would make it a lot easier. So we're gonna have one more look at the coals right away, but that's pretty much the video. I just wanted to kind of test it out, and I wanted to bring you along with me to see kind of what happened. So we saw some sweating and stuff like that, some frost down below still. You know, obviously it was really hot at the top, and down at the bottom was cooler. The fan seemed to help a little bit. It didn't do wonders though, but I'm willing to give that kind of another try and see how that disperses the air. Overall, really happy with everything, how it worked out. So stay tuned for the next episode, because I'll actually be staying the night in this tent, and I'll show you my sleep system and everything like that. I think that's it. I'm looking forward to trying some ice fishing with this down the road too this year. So make sure you subscribe for that as well. And I guess that is it. Remember the most important thing, folks, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. So we are at 1 hour and 31 minutes. Let's look. There you can see, it's just a little bed of coals, not much happening. You're gonna still get a little bit of heat out of that, but that's an hour and a half there for you, folks.